Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriya Nashyaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Te Bhavati Naistiki. So continuing with the discussion on Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 1, observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, text number 5 on. दृष्टकेतुश्चेकितानः काशीराजश्च वीर्यवान् पुरुजित् कुन्तीभोजश्च शैब्यश्च नरपुङ्गवः. So Duryodhana is further counting the powerful warriors on the side of um, on the side of Pandavas. There are also great, heroic, powerful fighters like Drishtaketu, Chekitan, Kashiraj, Purujit, Kuntibhoj, and Shabya. युधामन्युश्च विक्रान्त उत्तमौजाश्च वीर्यवान् सौभद्रो द्रौपदेयाश्च सर्व एव महारथः. There are the mighty Yudhamanyu, the very powerful Uttamoja, the son of Subhadra, and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters. The son of Subhadra, which is Abhimanyu, and the sons of Draupadi. So Draupadi had one son each from all the five brothers. अस्माकं तु विशिष्टा ये तानि बोधद्विजोत्तम नायकमं सैन्यस्य संज्ञार्थं तान् ब्रवीमि ते. But for your information, O best of the Brahmins, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force. So he is calling his military soldiers or fighters as captains, Nayaka. Others, on the other side, they're just fighters. But on my side, they're captains. भवान् भीष्मश्च कर्णश्च कृपश्च समितिञ्जय अश्वत्थामा विकर्णश्च सोमदत्तिस्तथैव च. There are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwatthama, Vikarna, and the son of the Somadatta called Bhurishrava, who are always victorious in battle. So first he telling Dronacharya, he started with him. There are personalities like you, although Bhishmitama was a better fighter and he's a commander in chief, but still, just to encourage Bhishmatama, just to encourage Dronacharya, he's saying there are personalities like you. Duryodhan mentions the exceptional heroes in the battle, all of whom are ever victorious. Now, see, Bhishma, Dronacharya, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwatthama. Then he called Vikarna, name of Vikarna. Vikarna was his brother, but he was not a fighter of that capability. Why is he calling his name in the middle of all these great warriors? So first of all, so that Vikarna should hear that okay, Duryodhana is really counting on him. And also the reason was Vikarna was the only warrior who raised his voice against Duryodhana and his brother Dushasan when they were trying to disrobe Draupadi. And Vikarna said, "This is wrong. You cannot do that. You should not do that." But since Duryodhana was the elder brother, he had to just shut up and sit down. But he was the only one who raised his voice. And like we will see after the battle started, see this is a dharma youth. And Yudhishthir Maharaj, I mean, before the battle started, after the conch shell was blown, but before the battle started, Yudhishthir Maharaj made an announcement in the battlefield that whoever thinks we are on the right side and you want to come from the Kaurav army to this side, please come. And whoever thinks if the Kaurav's army is on the right side, on the side of Dharma, from my army, anyone who wants to go there, you can go. This was the standard. And Seeing the behavior of Vikarna, Duryodhana knew this will happen. Yudhishthira will make an announcement, and Vikarna might change the sides. So he didn't want to uh, have this situation. So he's calling Vikarna. He's a great warrior, and he's on our side. How how afraid Duryodhana is. And from Pandava side, we'll see only Arjun speaks up. And that too, Arjun wasn't afraid of the army, he was just afraid of killing them. But Duryodhan here is really afraid. And he's telling, okay, Dronacharya, you are there, Bhishma, Pitama, and Karna. Although Karna was not in the battle till Pitama was commander in chief, but still he was on their side. And Kripacharya, Ashwatham. Kripacharya also. Kripacharya is a Brahman. Why was he in the battlefield? Because he was related to Dronacharya. Dronacharya married his sister, Kripi. And since Dronacharya was in the battle, he had to come to the battle. And Dronacharya was in the battle because Ashwathama, his son, was in the battle. So all these material entanglements were there. And because of this, even Dronacharya and Kripacharya had to fight this battle. So Ashwathama is the son of Dronacharya, and Somadatti or Bhurishrava is the son of the king of Bahilikas. Karna is half brother of Arjun as he was born of Kunti before her marriage with King Pandu. Kripacharya's twin sister married Dronacharya. And and we know now Delhi was Indraprasth, Hastinapur is near Meerut, and Gurugram or Gurgaon, it was Gurugram, which was the place where Guru Dronacharya was living and where he taught Pandavas and Kauravas the art of warfare. So in Gurugram, there is a temple. It's called Shitla Mata Mandir. Very, very famous temple. And that Shitla Mata Mandir is creepy, actually. That's Dronacharya's wife. It's her temple. अन्य च बहवः शूरा मद अर्थे त्यक्त जीविता नाना शस्त्र प्रहरण सर्वे युद्ध विशारद. There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons, and all are experienced in military science. As far as others are concerned, like Jadrat, Kritvarma, and Shalya, all are determined to lay down their lives for Duryodhana's sake. See, Duryodhana himself said they prepare to lay down their lives. Means they all are going to die. When Arjun starts speaking, he never said who's going to lay down his life, their life for Pandavas. He never said that. But here he's saying they're ready to lay down their lives. So maybe Saraswati sat on his tongue. They're saying they all are going to die for his sake. See, another difference. The reason is saying they're going to die for my sake. And Arjun was not ready to fight for his sake. In the end, Krishna preached to him, and then Krishna had to tell, okay, you fight this war for me. You just become an instrument and fight. And that's when Arjun agreed to fight. It's a huge difference between Duryodhan and Arjun. And that's the difference of devotee and non-devotee. In other words, it's already concluded that all of them would die in the battle of Kurukshetra for joining the party of the sinful Duryodhan. Duryodhan was, of course, confident of his victory on account of the above mentioned combined strength of his friends. So he was confident, but still there is some fear factor in his heart. Although there's seven of Shohini on Pandava side and 11 on Kaurava side. And he has so many warriors. Still, he was afraid. Afraid of Bhima, Arjun, and above all, Krishna. अपर्याप्तं तदस्माकं बलं भीष्माभिरक्षितं पर्याप्तं त्विदम् एतेषां बलं भीमाभिरक्षितम्. Our strength is immeasurable, and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited. See, again, he's so afraid of Bhima. He knew Bhima is the only one who's going to kill him, and Bhima had taken a vow. Bhimsen had taken a vow, I'm going to break your thighs, because Duryodhan pointed at his thighs for Draupadi to sit on his thighs. And Bhim took this vow, I'm going to break your thighs. And he took the vow that I'm going to break the hands of Dushasan and tear up his chest and drink his blood. And with that blood, I'm going to wash Draupadi's hair. Because Draupadi said, until I get that blood of Dushasan, not going to tie my hair. I'm going to let them loose. So many things, so many vows were there. And, uh, and, and see Krishna, how he orchestrates the whole thing, keeping intact all the promises and vows of his devotees. And still he wants to he made sure Pandavas win. Bhim, he protected the vows of Bhim, although Balramji was very angry and Bhim broke the thighs of Duryodhana. And Krishna had to protect Bhimsen from Balramji's anger also. But how he protects his devotees? In the middle of the battle, we know Arjun took the vow of killing Jadarath before sunset, otherwise he'll commit suicide. And how Krishna protected Arjun and still he killed Jadarath. He just covered sun with his Sudarshan Chakra. And everybody thought the sun has set. So many things, so many things. But one thing for sure, that we can be rest assured. Krishna will always protect his devotees. Always. Sometimes people ask, then why he didn't protect Abhimanyu? Abhimanyu was his own sister's son, Subhadra's son. Well, he just used Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu had only that much role, but he used Abhimanyu for a particular purpose, to let Pandavas win. That was that was a turning point of the whole battle. And if he had to sacrifice Abhimanyu, fine. But Abhimanyu is, again, he protected Abhimanyu's son, Parikshit Maharaj. And um, and it's not and Abhimanyu obviously he went back to the spiritual world after doing his service. Similarly, Krishna let Ghatotkacha, the son of Bhim, he let him die because he had to just use that Shakti weapon of Karna. Otherwise, Karna was going to use that Shakti weapon on Arjuna. So he used it on Ghatotkacha. So Ghatotkacha was used that way. But he was considered such a great warrior in that battle. He killed so many soldiers of Kuru's army, and I don't know which big warrior he killed, but he performed his service. And Krishna was very pleased with his service. That is most important. And Krishna, always going to protect. So now, here also, when Duryodhan says, Aparyatam tadasmakam balam bhishma virakshit. Herein an estimation of comparative strength is made by Duryodhana. He thinks that the strength of his armed forces is immeasurable, being specifically protected by the most experienced general grandfather Bhishma. On the other hand, the forces of the Pandavas are limited, being protected by less experienced general Bhima, was like a fig in the presence of Bhishma. Duryodhana was always envious of Bhima because he knew perfectly well that if he should die at all, he would only be killed by Bhima. But at the same time, he was confident of his victory on account of the presence of Bhishma, who was a far superior general. His conclusion that he would come out of the battle victorious was well ascertained in, in his calculations. Okay, in this shloka, this word aparyaptam, now it has two meanings. Here, Prabhupada translated it as our strength is immeasurable because we are perfectly protected by Bhishma Dev. This is he is telling Dronacharya. So this was to make Bhishma Pitama also, yes, see, he's saying, because of me, the strength is immeasurable. Aparyaptam also has a meaning that it's not sufficient. So the Dronacharya is hearing this meaning that it's not sufficient just because Bhishma Pitama is commander in chief. So you have to do your best in this battle because we are counting on you. Or Duryodhana saying, I am counting on you. So one word, and both the warriors heard it differently, and they are ready to fight, thinking that Duryodhana is telling me, without me, he cannot be victorious. And on the other hand, he's saying the strength of Pandavas, because they are protected by Bhima, is not enough. They're, they're just kids in front of Bhishma. And Bhima was the one who killed all the 100 Kaurav brothers. Because that's also one of the vows Bhima had taken. They didn't show in Mahabharata serial. He had taken this vow, I'm going to kill all of you brothers. Except there was one Yuyutsu who joined the Kauravs, joined the Pandava side when Yudhishthira Maharaj made that announcement. So he was only one, not killed by Bhima. But I think he was killed by Duryodhana because he changed the sides. But all the other 100 brothers were killed by Bhima. And even though was like in the battle, battle is going on, and if Arjun finds one of his cousin brothers, he would let him go. No, Bhima, my brother Bhima had taken the vow to kill you, so I'm not going to kill you. Just go away. So just imagine this war. All the cousins are fighting, and after Bhimsen killed all these brothers, and he broke the arms of Dushasan, tear up his chest, drank the blood, and brought the blood for Draupadi to wash her hair with. And then he broke the thighs of Duryodhana. And just imagine when Dhritarashtra heard all this from Sanjay, how angry he was with Bhimsen. And that is when, after the battle was won, Krishna led them to Hastinapur to meet Dhritarashtra, all the brothers. And Dhritarashtra, he especially asked for Bhimsen, come and I want to embrace you. And when Pandavas were in exile after the dies, Duryodhan had made a mannequin of Bhim, the same size and very strong, and he would practice his fighting. Well, he would strike it with full force on that mannequin with his gada, with his mace. He would practice. He would think, I'm killing Bhima, I'm fighting with him with full force. And Duryodhana was big warrior, 10,000 elephants he had the strength of. And when these brothers came to see Dhritarashtra, Krishna knew what's in the heart of Dhritarashtra. And he didn't let Bhim come close to Dhritarashtra. He said, bring that mannequin and put him in front of Dhritarashtra. And Dhritarashtra embraced that mannequin, and he was so angry at Bhimsen with his embrace only, without using any weapons. He just broke it into pieces, which Duryodhana used to hit it with his gada with full force, with his arms only. Dhritarashtra was so angry. He was also powerful, only a Kshatriya, but he just broke that mannequin in pieces. So that is Bhimsen. And also that is Krishna's protection of his devotees. So further, Duryodhana is saying, Ayaneshu cha sarveshu yatha bhagam avastita bhishma bhishmam eva abhirakshantu bhavanta sarva evahi. All of you must now give full support to Grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic points of entrance into the phalanx of the army. Duryodhana, after praising the prowess of Bhishma, further considered that others might think that they had been considered less important. So, in his usual diplomatic way, he tried to adjust the situation in the above words. He emphasized that Bhishma Dev was undoubtedly the greatest hero, but he was an old man. So, everyone must especially think of his protection from all sides. So, Bhishma Dev, no doubt, greatest hero, greatest fighter, but he's an old man, and according to one estimation, if I read it correctly, he was 370 years old or something like that, or maybe 170. I don't know. It was a big number. And he's saying all the warriors should protect him from all sides. He might become engaged in the fight, and the enemy might take advantage of his full engagement on one side. Therefore, it was important that other heroes not leave their strategic positions and allow the enemy to break the phalanx. Duryodhan clearly felt that the victory of Kurus depended on the presence of Bhishma Dev. He was confident of the full support of Bhishma Dev and Dronacharya in the battle because he well knew that they did not even speak a word when Arjun's wife, Draupadi, in a helpless condition, had appealed to them for justice while she was being forced to appear naked in presence of all the great generals in the assembly. So Bhishma Dev, Dronacharya, and Kripacharya also. But these were the major people who didn't speak up when Draupadi was getting disrobed. And that was a mistake. That was a big mistake. And that is why they died. Vidurji spoke up, uh, Vikarna spoke up. Kripacharya didn't, but still he was Brahman, so he was let go. He still survived even after the battle. But Bhishma Dev is Dronacharya. Although he knew that the two generals had some sort of affection for the Pandavas, he hoped that these generals would now completely give it up, as they had done during the gambling performances. So this was his hope that they just fight with full force in his favor and defeat the Pandavas. But Krishna is on the other side. Okay, I guess we can stop here. Any questions or comments? Okay,
Thank you so
Hare
much,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Jai Shri
Thanks a
Prabhupada.
lot. Hare